Right, sons, everybody, it's Molly with All Ears, and I am here today with an all-new video. Today's topic, we're going hunting on Batuu, y'all. Easter egg hunting. There's so much detail in Disney's newest land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, that we are going to go around the land and find as many of those Easter eggs as we can. From droid footprints to hidden familiar characters, there is a lot to look for, and you know I'm going to give you some Rise of the Resistance tips while we're at it. Are you ready? Are you excited? There's a lot to cover, so may the Force be with us. The first detail I'm going to point out in Galaxy's Edge, you're going to have to look down, because with a lot of lands, Disney likes to literally theme them from the ground up, so there's a lot of hidden detail in the ground. So you're going to find all different kind of creature footprints as well as droid footprints. Do droids leave footprints? Robot prints? I don't know what they are, but look down on the ground and you'll see what I'm talking about. Here are those droid prints I was talking about, and they actually brought out the original R2-D2 unit that was used in the original trilogy to make these, which is incredibly awesome, and you'll see those rolling around. Looking down at the ground, I can find the Gungan footprints. They're the ones that have like the little toe shape. That is Jar Jar Binks, is breed, which means these big circular ones are going to be your Bantha footprints, because they're like big herd animals. So yeah, there's lots of fun tracks to look for. These are GNK Power Droid robot prints. I still don't know what to call them. R2-D2 on my head is telling me I'm correct. I'm glad our team has a resident Star Wars expert, because as much as I enjoy Galaxy's Edge, as much as I enjoy all the film, I've seen all of them, and I've definitely noticed things like the footprints before, and I knew those ones were from R2-D2, but it's always good to have somebody that literally knows what species of creature left these footprints. So thanks to my team, because it's all a team effort. Walking now towards Resistance Outpost, which is this little section of Galaxy's Edge. It's where you can buy your Resistance gear, very fittingly close to Rise of the Resistance. But this one you're going to have to listen for, because as you come back towards these bushes, you can actually hear all kinds of creatures in the woods. It's so cool because, like, you'll think maybe that's a real bird, but it's a space bird. And as you just stand here and listen, you can hear things crunching on leaves like they're walking through the forest. You can hear birds literally like travel from here to there. You can just hear insects and warts and all kinds of stuff. So it's very immersive, and this is part of something that happens throughout Galaxy's Edge. Is even though most people aren't standing here and listening specifically to these creature noises, it helps immerse you and engage all five senses when you're walking through here to make it really feel like you're on another planet. Another thing that you may think is by accident, but I promise you nothing at Disney is by accident, is this golden lichen that you'll see on the rocks over here. Now it may just look like they painted it that color, or even like it's mold growing along the side of these rocks, but if you read the Black Spire Outpost cookbook, if you are a big enough fan to have that, then they refer to this lichen as a delicacy. So you can see here that it's something maybe the Resistance fighters are snacking on while they're plotting against the First Order. Also over near Resistance Outpost, you can see a full-scale model of an X-Wing. These first appeared in A New Hope, but this to scale model is a little bit later version. It's a T-70 model, and if you hang around here long enough, you'll actually see Chewbacca and Rey come work on the ship, which is always cool. And if you listen up, you can hear transmissions being sent to the cockpit. Atop the shelves here at Resistance Supply, you'll also see some macro binoculars, which were first used by Luke in A New Hope when he's in the sand dune area. A not so small detail is the giant torrent here that marks the entrance of Rise of the Resistance. While that is a new model for Galaxy's Edge, it's designed after the one on Hoth in Episode 5. Torrent? I meant turret. You know what I mean. Wow, I can pronounce some of the Star Wars words, but not like normal words. There's also this A-Wing here in the Resistance area, which was first seen in Return of the Jedi, but this is a newer model, one that the Resistance would have used against the First Order. And like the X-Wing, you're going to want to listen up because you'll hear people communicating with the cockpit. Scooting our way out of the Resistance area to the marketplace, and I'm spotting a famous friend, Chewie! The characters in this area are not like a normal meet and greet character. They are here on Batuu. They have things to do. They gotta pop through the marketplace. They gotta work on their starships. The stormtroopers gotta patrol the area, so keep that in mind. They're not gonna line up. They're probably not gonna pose for a lot of pictures, but they're gonna interact with the land, which is very fun. I love interacting with the locals here. If you talk to them, they all have a backstory. They'll tell you what part of the galaxy they're from and what their family's trade is. It's really, really fun. So get into character. As a reminder, to say hello, you say bright suns. And if you want to say goodbye, you say like to the Spire. And if it's nighttime, you say rising moons as a greeting. What is just so fun about this land is that if you walk around, especially in some of the quieter areas, you'll be able to hear a lot of different things. Creatures in the woods, insects, starships taking off and landing, people having conversations. It truly creates a 5-sense experience and makes you feel like you're somewhere else. As you enter the marketplace, make sure you look up and you'll see all these apartments that people are living in. And it looks like they were made out of different crates and things, like parts of starships are now being turned into apartments. And if you listen, yet again, you'll hear people talking and yelling from their apartment to other people. That's R2-D2 on my head, but probably the most well-known and one of the coolest Easter eggs here in Galaxy's Edge is at this water fountain and water bottle refill station right near the restrooms. Dianoga will appear, as in the trash monster from A New Hope. So if you watch long enough, he'll show up right in this container. First thing in the marketplace on your right-hand side, there is a wood carver's station, and he's created some famous friends out of wood, but this is what he's using as a kiln. It's a droid minus his head. Moving along in the marketplace, you'll see these 3 speeder bikes on the wall on your right-hand side. This is one of my favorite Easter eggs. If you look at this green one in the middle, it's got some Arabish letters on the side, and if you were to translate those like kind of V triangle K looking shape, it would translate to LMA, which stands for Lights, Motors, Action, which some of you may remember as the Extreme Stunt Show here at Hollywood Studios. Galaxy's Edge actually sits where that attraction was, so that is kind of a nod to the predecessor to this area. Another cool thing about these land speeders is this blue one on the bottom. It is a replica, it's a child-sized replica of an M68 land speeder, which is the kind that Han Solo steals in the beginning of the film Solo. The first merchandise shop you come to on the right-hand side is called the Creature Stall. And while there's not a ton of like Easter eggs, there are a ton of creatures that you'll recognize. But I always remind people to look up when they go into these shops, because look at how cool all of the baskets and carts and cages that were used to transport these creatures. Some of them actually have like plants in them. Check out this one cage in particular. There's actually somebody in there and it watches you. The eyeballs look around, they blink, they shut, they look down. If you look in the big cage when you first walk in, you'll actually see a sleeping loth cat. He's pretty cute. I just noticed it appears that this little BB, hello little baby, is drinking what appears to be blue and green milk. So this is my new friend Steven. He works here at the Creature Stall. He's a local Batuian, and he's going to tell us what all of these creatures are.
So first and foremost, we have a wart, native to Tatooine. Most of this is where we get your blue milk.
Yum.
We have dewbacks right here. Loft cats are right down here. Porgs, wampas, tauntauns, puffer pigs all the way right over here. Knee brays right here. Blue Kawaki monkey lizards. Crickna spiders. Let me see, what else do we have? Oh, we have Minox way over there in the corner. Those little green things, those are going to be Minox.
What's that?
I actually do not know the name of this. Dina just adopted it.
He's very cute, I guess, kind of.
Yeah, we're waiting on him to be able to be adopted.
Yeah. He's got claws.
I thought this was going to be like a bog.
A lot of off-roaders and travelers call him like a snail, but I'm not sure what a snail is.
Right, that makes sense.
And then I think finally we have the Rathtars right over there.
Oh yeah, those are nice. Which is your favorite creature?
I like the Rathtars.
Yeah, but they're scary.
Well, right now, they're kind of scary, but
They're little.
They're little, so you can they're not too scary.
Okay.
Yeah, they get much bigger, but.
Good to know. I looked on the interwebs, and this guy is called a Dokma, and he's got little claws. Scooting into Toydarian toy makers at this point, and the first Easter egg here is actually on the sign. Toydarian is the species of the character Watto in the Phantom Menace, and you can see one of his kind right here on the sign outside. The owner here is a guy named Zabaka, and you can see him working on this window as you look out at the top side of Toydarian Toy Maker. Probably the biggest and coolest Easter egg in here is if you look up above the register, there's puppets of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader dueling. If you keep looking up on these shelves, there's just a treasure trove. There's an Ewok and an AT-AT and little models of a bunch of characters. And above the whole store, there is a giant mobile, and it's got the Millennium Falcon escaping through the asteroid field in Empire Strikes Back. Also in the Toydarian, up on the shelves, you'll see this, what looks like a rocking horse, but if you look closer, it's actually a Fathier, which I can't really say, but that's the lamb-like giant horse creatures in The Last Jedi that Finn and Rose escape on the casino planet. Above another shelf, you'll see a replica of the sail barge from Jabba the Hutt at the beginning of Episode 6. And then if you look further on the shelf, they sell these wooden stormtrooper dolls that Jin has in Rogue One. Some of the cool toys you can get here are from the movies as well. These are drums based on the Ewok drums. And then there is this crazy flute and this horn that are used by the gang in the Cantina Band in the iconic Cantina scene. If you've seen A New Hope, which I'm sure most of you have, you may recognize this board game, which you can purchase in the Toydarian, and it's meant to look like it's made out of wood carved from a nice tree. And they also have chance cubes, like the ones that Watto and Obi-Wan play with in The Phantom Menace. Next is Black Spire Outfitters, and I don't know of any Easter eggs in here other than you can buy styles worn by characters like Rey and the Jedis. But once again, I'm going to tell you to look up at all of the spools of thread and fabric, just because this detail, again, is truly what makes this place amazing. Across from Black Spire Outfitters is Black Spire Outpost. And this is the only place to get things that say Black Spire Outpost on them. Note, it's not going to say Galaxy's Edge. It's going to say Black Spire Outpost because you are here on another planet. Galaxy's Edge isn't a thing. Black Spire Outpost is. And there's really cool merchandise, but again, I'm going to tell you to look up. Look at all these old, amazing lanterns that they've kind of weathered and hung up here. It's just incredible, the detail. The sign for the Black Spire Outpost is right here, and it's got a Bith head on it, who you may recognize as being a species popularized by the Cantina in A New Hope. at Katsaka's Kettle, home to one of my favorite snacks on the planet, the Outpost mix. But you can buy a souvenir popcorn bucket that looks like a mouse droid first seen in A New Hope. This is also one of the many places, not really an Easter egg, but you can buy the thermal detonator soda bottles with Arabish writing on them. The Outpost mix is right here, and it's a blueberry lemon pound cake. Those are the purple ones, and then the red one is a chili lime. So it's like a sweet spicy thing going on. It tastes a lot like Trix. It's a very black licorice snack because half of my team hates it and I love it, and they make fun of me for loving it so much. But let me know what you think in the comments if you've had the Katsaka's Outpost mix. And for the record, the green popcorn that you can get here as well is just butter salted popcorn, but it's green because we're in Galaxy's Edge, so it'll taste just like regular popcorn. Along the walls in Katsaka's Outpost mix, you'll see herbs and flowers and some otherworldly looking spice bags and things hanging. You can definitely see that purple and red where the Outpost mix gets its color from. The next store I'm trying to go into, which is Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, actually has a wait time to go in there. It's a super popular store with a bunch of things, including lightsabers and a lot of replicas of things. This is, if you want to go one place for a bunch of cool Easter eggs, this is the one place you need to go. If you start on this taxidermied head wall here, you've got a taxidermy Tauntaun, Bantha, Nexu, and a few other creatures. And then probably the coolest thing in here, or the most popular, is over on this wall. There's that silver helmet, which is from The Mandalorian on Disney+. Keep looking up here. There are just helmets and weapons and all kinds of things, including our friend the taxidermied Wampa up here. Near one of the registers, there's a cage that has a baby Sarlacc in it. You can see the top as well as the bottom. He's a lot smaller than the one in Return of the Jedi that is Jabba threatens to feed our friends to. Among things you could actually purchase, you could get this necklace that's a replica of the one Princess Leia wears at the end of A New Hope, and it's so much a replica that they actually found the jewelry designer and used the same mold as they did in the 70s to make these necklaces. And it can be yours for the mere price of $2,000. Credits, I guess. 2,000 credits is what they'd say here. Beautiful creature, yes. So this is a Dianoga as well. A baby named Toothy. Does he have an eye or a face?
He has an eye somewhere. He likes to hide. Oh, right.
He's hiding.
Right
There's this little eyeball, little cutie. Okay, I met a friend from Batu, and she was telling me that what all the species are over on this wall.
The top right is a Tauntaun. Right below it is an Anuba. Right next to it, that creepy loft cat looking thing, that's a Nexu.
Yeah.
Right above it, we have a Kodiak.
Oh, I thought that was a Bantha.
No.
My bad.
It's a Kodiak. And then there in the middle, that little creepy one, that's a Corellian Hound Dog.
Oh, they're very exciting. My friend showed me something else as well. They used to have the Ark of the Covenant in here from Indiana Jones, but they removed it. But I'm going to try and show you this cool one. If you look at this jacket, look down to the left, you'll actually see like a reddish colored round top thing. That is a headdress like Queen Amidala used to wear. I'm going to try and get another angle, but my friend told me that's one she just noticed. Basically just stand in this store for a few minutes and look around and you'll find a ton of Easter eggs. Scooting into Ronto Roasters, this is where you can get that delicious Ronto wrap, that pork sausage wrap. And it's got, the way they're cooking the meat is this pod racing engine, as seen from the pod racing in the Phantom Menace. And then cooking the meat, working hard, hardest working droid in the galaxy, is our friend right here, the Smelting Droid. Looking at the Ronto Roasters menu, one thing I want to point out is that even the names of food items have some kind of Galaxy's Edge twist, but this one specifically wanted to call out the Tatooine sunset. That's a reference to that super famous shot of Luke walking on Tatooine. There's this little alcove here near Ronto Roasters, and you'll see some creatures hanging, including a Gorg, which is that green one. which is what Jar Jar tries to eat when they're walking through the forest. If you haven't had a Ronto wrap yet, you're definitely missing out. It's one of my favorite things to eat in all of Hollywood Studios, and definitely my favorite thing to eat here in Galaxy's Edge specifically. The garage, here's another place to listen up because they've got a radio going, so you can hear some sweet Galaxy's Edge jams. And taking a look at this land speeder, it's designed after the one that Luke rides in A New Hope. This is a really fun one. On the trash cans around the land, the number 3263827 is printed on them, which is the serial number of the trash compactor in A New Hope that Luke, Han, and Leia almost get crushed in. I've had my eye out for the hidden Mickeys like this whole time because allegedly there's some that are made out of 3 blaster holes and then it makes a Mickey. And I just asked a cast member and he's like, what's Mickey? So then you kind of have to remember to play in character. And I was like, like if there were 3 blaster holes that were all near each other, and then he told me where to go, so I hope to find it. I talked to more cast members and they told me that there are not any official hidden Mickeys here, which I could believe. Imagineering didn't put any here, and so what happens is people just see like circles of 3 and then they assume it's a hidden Mickey. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. If you see 3 blaster circles near each other that look like a Mickey to you, live your dreams, let them be a Mickey. But I can imagine Imagineering didn't actually put any in here because it's supposed to be its completely own thing. I'm now standing near Droid Depot and Savvy's and looking up at Docking Bay 7, which is the quick service location. And if you look closely at the cargo being delivered, they've got 3 numbers on them, 77, 80, and 83. Those are the years that the original trilogy were released. So 1977, 80, and 83. Another one of my favorite Easter eggs here. Just came into Docking Bay 7. Here you can see that cargo 80 pod, which we pointed out on the roof, is being lowered down to make a delivery. Atop this cargo area where you can eat, you can actually see that a creature is being frozen in carbonite, a la Han. Just in general in here, you might eat inside of a cargo pod. There's that creature being frozen again. You're probably sitting on some kind of container or crate. So just the detail in here. If you look up, you'll see things being delivered in different containers. On display in the queue is some exotic looking fruit, including this Meliroon melon, which is from the Star Wars Rebels series. As you head towards the First Order area before the milk stand, and I found Jango Fett's jetpack in here. Ooh, trying to get it in focus, it's hard shooting in there. There's Jango Fett's jetpack along with all of the more helmets and military equipment and things. A lot of fun stuff to look at in here. There's also a wait to make a droid. 60-minute wait to get into Droid Depot and make a droid, which is why I will kindly remind you that you can book online advance reservations for the Droid Depot, as well as Oga's Cantina and the lightsaber experience at Savvy's, like you would a dining reservation. So clearly, that is the recommended way to go. Inside Droid Depot, there are droid units that are going to remind you of all kinds of your favorite characters, but one of my favorites is above the register in the back room. That red face absolutely is the same series as our friend C-3PO. This is where you actually build the droids, and if you were to take some time to look at all of these droid parts above here, you're definitely going to be able to pick out BB-8 units, R2 units, all kinds of things. But the most clever of the Easter eggs, probably in the whole land, is up here. If you watch the parts that are hanging above the Droid Depot area, let's start with this silver one. Let's start with this one leg. There's one, and then you see another part there, and then these are in a group of 3, and the next group is going to be in a series of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a nod to the film THX 1138, which was Lucas's first film. Incredible. On the backside of the droid depot, you'll notice a couple other famous droids, including the busted up R2 unit from A New Hope, and the probe droid from Empire Strikes Back is hanging in pieces over here. There is just so much detail in this land and detail in this universe that you could probably do like multi-hour videos just on all the little details and everything that you can look for here. So I'm sure there's things that we're not going to cover, but it's just so much. It's overwhelming. Not really an Easter egg because it's pretty out in the open, but of course a lot of people were really excited about coming to the milk stand so they could finally taste that blue Bantha milk from A New Hope, and then they also have the green milk from The Last Jedi. You can get either one in a souvenir cup. You can also get them with alcohol if you want to kick it up a notch. I've tried the milk personally. I prefer the blue with alcohol and the green without alcohol. But if you want to know more about Galaxy's Edge, including everywhere you can eat and drink, my whole review of the land, we will link that video for you.
We have orders to resume recon. We are leaving this area.
A really good one that's very funny, but unfortunately I don't think you're going to be able to hear it on camera, is if you listen up around here in the First Order area, you'll hear an intercom announcement saying that they've canceled target practice for the stormtroopers, which is a nod to and a reference to the fact that they have notoriously bad aim. Very funny and clever. These crates near the First Order area as you head toward Oga's are great to look into because you'll see a lot of familiar weapons used by the Resistance and the Rebellion. A lot of these, that looks like what they wear on Hoth. Sweet hat. When in doubt, if you're looking for Easter eggs, look in these type containers because you'll find a lot of good stuff. Bright signs. Good. Welcome to Oga's Cantina. This is your Galaxy watering hole, and it's themed after the Mos Eisley Cantina in A New Hope. Once you have to have reservations at this point to get inside, they very rarely accept walk-ups, and they have drinks that you're not going to get anywhere else, including exclusive wine and beer that they make for this location. Behind the main bar, they have this huge machine that will go into hyperdrive to run the whole thing. And most importantly, DJ Rex spinning the beats to the infinity and beyond. He used to be the pilot on Star Tours, and he has now found his calling as an intergalactic DJ. And you will hear him play, like right now, the Cantina song. All of the menu items here have cool names like a Fuzzy Tauntaun, Jedi Mind Trick, Jet Juice. They're all themed after different Star Wars characters, words, references, and a lot of them you can get souvenir glasses that you can take home. But don't worry, all the souvenir glasses, you don't have to get them with the drink if you don't want them. Like if you want the Cliff Dweller, which is that cute Porg one, you'll get to drink out of the cup, but they won't give you one to take with you. And keep in mind there's a lot of concoctions without alcohol, so your kids are welcome in here. They've got this one that's blue milk, and it's got like a donut cookie on the top. They also have a couple of these crazy like Jello shot petri dish things. One that has alcohol, one that doesn't. And then they've got a couple little bites. They've got a Batu Bits, which is like a unique snack mix. And then they've got a charcuterie board. Not gonna lie to you guys, not my favorite charcuterie board. If you're gonna get a charcuterie here, go to Baseline a few steps away and get their amazing $10 charcuterie. But what I do recommend is the Fuzzy Tauntaun. It's my favorite drink on the menu. It's a peach drink with Ciroc peach vodka, peach schnapps, Simply Orange, and then they've got Buzz Buttons. That's the foam on top. It's so refreshing, and the foam numbs your mouth. Isn't that fun? I don't know why it is, but it is. But there is a 45-minute time limit here in Oga's Cantina and a 2-drink maximum, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, because they're trying to rotate as many people through as they can, but still allow you to have a good time. But try and stay the whole 45 minutes if you're able. It's a lot of fun in here. The music's great. You may have to stand, but at least it's air conditioned, and cool things could happen. The hyperdrive may break down and the bartenders have to fix it. Make sure you listen to DJ Rex, because he'll say some funny stuff. He was just talking about the First Order. You may hear Oga come on. So just like everywhere else in Galaxy's Edge, there's a lot of detail that you need to pay attention to. A really sweet thing to look for is at this tree by Savi's workshop. It's actually a wishing tree. If you notice all of the ribbons tied on it, it started in the Star Wars novel, A Crash of Fate, and the legend was that if you tied a piece of ribbon or cloth around the tree, you made a special wish, and then when it broke off or the wind carried it away, that wish would come true. Now, sometimes when you come here, there may not be a lot of ribbons because other worlders, aka us, people will take them off, which makes me really sad. So if you see the wishing tree, please don't remove the ribbons, because then that person's wish won't come true. That's a cute little thing to look for near Savi's workshop. I'm gonna head aboard the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy now. It does have a posted 50-minute wait, which today's been really busy, and it was 90 earlier, so I'm gonna do it. I got my Outpost mix, Breakfast of Champions, and I'm ready to go. An important thing I should note about Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is that at the time of filming, there is no Fast Pass Plus for this attraction, so my only options are Standby and Single Rider, and Single Rider cuts out a lot of the queue where a lot of those details are. But beginning February 19th, they are adding Fast Pass to this attraction. It will be a Tier 1 along with Slinky Dog Dash. Everything else will be Tier 2, and Rise of the Resistance, you'll still need a boarding group. Then, beginning March 4th, when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opens up, they're going to add that into Tier 1 as well. So you'll have to choose between Millennium Falcon, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and Slinky Dog Dash is a Tier 1, and then everything else will be in Tier 2. And Rise of the Resistance, as of now, you'll still need a boarding group. But don't worry, we're going to do a whole video. We're going to kind of redo the Fast Pass Challenge with the new tiers, try and figure out how to maximize and strategize those, as well as how to best strategize getting on Rise of the Resistance in that whole mix of new things coming and changes. So, but for now, Standby it is. I'm not mad though. This is so good. But also, it has longer lines in the morning because everybody gets here early to ride Rise of the Resistance and get a boarding group. So, usually in the mid-afternoon, a lot of those people go home to take naps or swim or whatever because they're tired from getting up at 6 in the morning to get here so early. And the queue will drop to like 30, 40 minutes, which is not too bad. But also, it's really, really busy today, so I don't know what the deal is. But I'll take 50 minutes. I got snacks. The best thing about this queue is that you get to wind around the Millennium Falcon and look at it from every little detail and every little angle. Check out every little detail. Sometimes Chewbacca's under here working on the ship, and if you yell at him in Wookiee language, like, that's my best impression, he might come talk to you. One thing that's really good to know is there's actually a drink cart in the queue for Millennium Falcon. I didn't know this because I have not had to wait in a line this long because I'm a brat, I guess, or I just get lucky and the line hasn't been that long. They sell the Gold Squadron Lager as well as the the Galaxy's Edge soda balls and waters. Like everywhere else in Galaxy's Edge, you're going to want to listen while you're in here. You'll hear them making announcements and paging Hondo. One of my favorite ones is they mentioned somebody's shipping Rathtars, which is a spoiler for another Easter egg I'm going to show you. Here in the queue, you can see that a couple of employees were invested in a game of Sarlacc, but then they quickly had to disperse, probably got a call.
System check. Pneumatic actuators to full.
I love this crate that's clearly smuggling some kind of contraband, but they have put packets of the Outpost mix on top of it to smuggle it. Because remember, we're smugglers. Hondo Okinawa is not the most... He's a little shady. He's not the most morally aligned guy. As you're working your way up the catwalk inside of the Millennium Falcon queue, you're going to want to just look Once again, at all of the shelves, there's pieces of droids laying about, like this poor little guy right here. You may see some helmets and some different weapons. And it just truly amazes me, I know I say it all the time, how much detail they put into this place. Like, look, here's looks like a stormtrooper helmet that's being used as an oil drip pan. You're going to hear them mention Hondo a lot. Hondo Okinawa is the guy that owns this Okinawa Transport Systems. Like I said, he's kind of a shady character. He's going to be asking you to help load some contraband. But if you get it, he'll give you a little bit of the cut, and that is a win for everybody. But Hondo Okinawa, who we're going to meet in a little bit, he is voiced by Jim Cummings, not only in the series, but here on the attraction as well. Jim Cummings is known for doing over 400 different character voices, with his most notable ones being Ed, the hyena, in The Lion King, Winnie the Pooh, and Tigger, which that's whose voice I hear every time I go on this attraction. He also did the pre-show.
People, we're trying to do work here. Just keep moving. Gar on the com. This is Gar. Yeah. What's with all these people everywhere today? Don't want this job. Actually.
You can hear Hondo come on the intercom. He's like, we're in charge of international shipping. Definitely not smuggling. But anyway, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Pete in a Goofy movie, and the current Mickey classics, Ed the hyena. Some of the characters, Hercules, and maybe most importantly to a lot of you, he did the intro for Illuminations, the good evening part.
This is hello, my friends. I am Hondo Onaka, and this is Onaka Transport Solutions.
In the pre-show, you may hear Hondo say a few iconic lines. He says, I've got a bad feeling about this, and boring conversation anyway, but it may happen before you actually get in there or after when he's still talking when you leave, but he does reference those two famous Star Wars lines. I am the gunner, but this is the most iconic part of the attraction. When you board the ship, it's very exciting, first of all. But also there's a bunch of Easter eggs. First things first, you've got that chess table. Just don't forget to let the Wookiee win. And then sitting above it, you'll actually see one of Luke's helmets. But he can't see with the shield down. Down this hallway, you may recognize it as the spot where Han and Leia first smooch. Here's the ladder down to the blaster cannons.
For your safety, remain seated and supervise young ones. Por favor, permanezcan sentados y cuide a los niños.
Watch it! Julie makes flying this thing look easy, eh? Oh, that's ridiculous. Things are getting hot. We've got to get out of here.
Wow, I'm really good at being the engineer. The same cannot be said for my pilot skills.
Oh, looks like we are ready to unload.
Possibly the coolest thing about this attraction is when you get off, the level of deterioration in the ship, so the amount of lights flickering and making those noises will change based on how well you did. So our pilots were actually pretty good, so there's not a lot. I've been on it before where basically every light is out and it's making a lot of those noises, so that will change every time you ride, which is really cool. Remember earlier when someone said that they were transporting Rathtars? Found one. This one has been frozen in carbonite, and it's at the exit of the attraction. If you can't find it, just ask a cast member and they'll direct you directly to it, but it's a fun little guy to look at. He's cute, right? And keep an eye out in the queue and the exit for porg nests. A couple little friendly porgs have decided to call the Millennium Falcon home. I hope Chewbacca doesn't eat them. That wasn't too bad. That was about 50 minutes, almost exactly from the time I got in the line to right now, so that included the actual ride time as well as the pre-show and everything. So the actual queue, probably a little bit less than 50 minutes, maybe more like 35 or 40, so not too terrible. Plus it's a cool queue to look at. And you can always use the Play Disney Parks app to scan some of those crates and things and see what happens. The Play Disney Parks app is super, super fun in this land specifically because they've got different, you can like translate things, you can hack inside droids, you can look inside crates, so that's a good way to pass the time while you're here. I'm headed to ride Rise of the Resistance. I got my boarding group called at 3:15, so that's really not too bad for being group 87, and I had until 5:15 to get on the attraction. So when your group is called, you head to one part of the attraction, they scan your band to make sure your group has really been called, and then you're on to the ride. Hello, Bright Suns! Woo! Let's go find Poe!
Good luck on your mission.
Thank you! Hello, Bright Suns!
Good luck on your mission.
Good luck on our mission! I'm so excited! We were stopped for a little bit, like I hadn't moved for like 5 to 10 minutes maybe, and then a cast member came through with a tray and he gave anyone that wanted one a complimentary water. So I don't know if it had a downtime or they had a short technical difficulty or they're just a little backed up, but Disney is doing their best to accommodate you if that happens.
Are you thinking how it's getting me?
Yes, I am. If
Hello.
that's okay. Hi, thank you for giving us water.
Hey, Olga don't give me enough credit for this. So, we do this. I try to be nice, but Olga, you know,
I know.
being compassionate for right now. So.
Unfortunately, the ride did break while I was in the queue. I was in there for about 45 minutes, and then I elected to leave because I was hot, and I didn't want to wait there anymore. I'm not saying you should leave. I actually would recommend you stay. This is when the playing of heads up, maybe bring a deck of cards. It is a bummer when these kind of things happen. My best advice in these situations is to talk to the cast members before you get out of the queue. I was just talking to a cast member outside of the attraction, and she was saying that the ones that can try and help you, and it's all circumstantial, it's based on when you got here, how long you've been waiting, where you were in the queue, how long you've been waiting in the queue, all these different things. They have the ability to possibly provide you the chance to come back if the attraction comes back up, that sort of thing. I'm never going to tell you exactly what's going to happen because it's going to definitely vary on a case-by-case basis. All I can tell you is if this does happen when you're waiting for Rise of the Resistance, make sure to talk to a cast member before you get out of the queue. They also had cast members bringing guests to bathrooms, so that's good to know as well. There is access to a bathroom, but again, talk to your cast member. Let them know the situation. They may be able to work something out for you. You know what? I'm going to come back another day, fiddle-faddle again, and try again so we can see some more cool stuff on the attraction. What a difference a few days make. Granted, it is now the Friday of President's Day weekend, so it is a holiday weekend. It is Valentine's Day, and I got here about 10 or so minutes later than the other day when I was trying to get on Rise, and this was backed up like 2 or 3 cars. So, yikes. Let's hope I can get in there on time. Here we go. It's like 7:45 right now. I've never walked so fast in my entire life, but we're gonna try. 7:53, I made it through security. Let's see what the main entrance looks like. All right, this is the beauty of coming a little bit late. Not that I'm advising you to do that, but there's not a backup at the main entrance, so now I'm just looking for one that doesn't have anybody going to it. Down here. Look at that, walking right up. Thank you. And I'm in the park. A few minutes to spare. Whew. I made it. It's substantially more crowded than it was a few days ago. Again, holiday weekend. But I'm going to go to my corner, turn off my Wi-Fi, hard close out of the app. Tension is high. Whew, that was the most stressful morning yet, considering I woke up late, my hair is still wet, there was a holiday traffic, and I didn't get actually in the park until like 7:54. But I'm not recommending that at all. But I was able to get the highest level boarding group that I have gotten so far. I got 34, and that was thanks to a tip from one of you on Instagram. You let me know that a cast member told you to start refreshing in and out within the My Disney Experience app from the find out more at Rise of the Resistance, click my status, go back out, kind of fiddle with that. As soon as that announcement starts at like 7:59, so I started fiddling there, and then I remembered from a few days ago when the join boarding group didn't eliminate, but I was able to do my status and join boarding group from there, and that was actually faster for me. So I clicked my status, and then the second I could click join boarding group, I did, and I got group 34. So hopefully this trial and error is helpful to you and you're maximizing the tips and tricks. But now, hopefully the ride will stay operational and I'll get to ride it. Yay! My boarding group number 34 got called at 11:15, so I'm excited to go see my boyfriend Poe and also to share fun facts, but mostly the Poe thing. Sad day. I'm having very bad luck with this, but unfortunately the attraction is down right now. I'm not stressed, they don't seem stressed. Anytime, if it goes down and you're not able to ride, you can come back even if it's outside of your window. I'm obviously hoping it doesn't take that long. However, I was told by the cast members, and how you can tell if the attraction's down or back up again, if you're looking at the My Disney Experience app, look at that top number. For example, it stopped at 35, group 35. When you see that go up to 36, then you know it's back up again. Meanwhile, if you're not over here for them to tell you it's down, if you're watching it and monitoring it, if you see it stuck on one boarding group for quite some time, it's a fair guess that it is down for technical difficulties. But they said they're working hard to get it back up. I'm not stressed. Hopefully it comes back soon, because I'm gonna hang here for a little bit because I want to be one of the first people to get back on it, because everyone's gonna come back as soon as it's back up. But I'm hoping to linger for a few. Whilst I'm waiting, I figured I'd take the time to answer a couple questions that I get a lot on Instagram and we get a lot of comments about, and that's about the Disability Access Pass as well as Child Swap, and if you can use those on Rise of the Resistance. The answer is yes to both, but you still need a boarding group. You cannot just walk up with a DAS pass and get on the attraction. You still need a boarding group, and you have to. Everybody has to have a boarding group to do Rider Swap as well. So what you'll do is you'll go in, you'll tap in the way anyone else would, and then let them know that you have a disability card, and they will send you through a different entrance, but only after your group has been called. Same thing with Rider Swap. You'll tap in, let them know you're doing Rider Swap. They'll let you figure out who's going to go first, who's going to go second. They'll have everybody swipe in. The group that's staying with the child that's too short can go frolic about in Galaxy's Edge, and then when they come back, that group will be sent through the Fast Pass while the other group stays with the child. So long story short, you can use both Rider Swap and Disability Access cards, but no matter what, you need a boarding pass. So when I first got here, all of the cast members were forming a wall right here, but then I saw some of them hustle and go back over to the umbrellas where they scan you in, which makes me hopeful. So I'm kind of just that creep that's lingering at this point. They let us start forming a queue at this point, which I also think is a good sign. They haven't opened it up yet, but the reason I'm lingered, and I would tell you to linger just for a few minutes, don't obviously stand here for hours, but if you can kind of linger and see what's happening, what's going to happen is everybody that didn't get to ride right now is going to come back as soon as they see it's up, and the line is going to go all the way back there. It's already started. I've seen this return line be over an hour to upwards of 2 or longer, so either be here right when it comes up or wait even longer, talk to the cast members, see if you can come back outside of your return window, because what you don't want to do is come back in the middle of everybody coming back, if you can avoid it. Hooray! Hello! Thank you! Thank you! Ooh, look at me, first one in the queue. The good thing about having to come back more than one time to try and get on this attraction for this video is I was able to look up even more fun facts. For example, this waterfall you go under is heavily featured in the Star Wars novel Black Spire. Yeah, we're digging into the novels now, friends. Also makes for a great Insta photo. This lantern is a replica, or one very similar to the one that Luke uses when he's training with Master Yoda. Very exciting. This is amazing. Like I said, I wouldn't stand there for hours, but if you can time it right and kind of linger for a little bit, this could be your reality. Boop, 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 ba-doop, ba-doo. In this cage, you can actually see those breathing masks they use on the Millennium Falcon in Empire Strikes Back. Wow, this is going so fast. Thank you. I love that just throughout here. One, they've added in benches in case you have to sit, but you can tell we're in an old, broken down building. There's clay pots amongst all the artillery. And again, in this one, there are so many cool nods to different famous resistance and rebel fighters, because they've got like the jumpsuit that similar to the one Luke wears. They've got different helmets that have the same designs as some of your favorite resistance fighters. You could spend a long time just looking in here. I've now hit where these people were waiting inside the whole time I was waiting outside. And some of them did tell me that they brought snacks and stuff through like they did for me the other day. So it seems like even though you may not be waiting hours in here, they're trying to make sure you're comfortable and you still have a good time.
Good. Shouldn't you be in flight prep? Welcome to the cause. May the force be with us.
As you exit the first room, make sure to look to the right because you're going to see Poe's ship and, of course, BB-8. A lot of people miss that. They just run into the transporter, but you got to see BB-8 right here. And then if you look at the transporter, it will actually power up and you can hear it starting and you can hear them on the intercom saying that we're ready to get on board. Look all around when you get in here because you can see different things out of each of the windows. The back, the top, and of course the front with Lieutenant Beck.
Speed on my mark. About to get better than that. BB-8, what do you got?
There appear to be a number of smoke. I have a bad feeling about this. Stand back from those doors.
This ship now belongs to the First Order. Everyone out. And don't try anything. Our stormtroopers will be watching your every move.
It's important to know that Lieutenant Beck will look at which way the door is going to open because you don't know from which way you're going to get boarded. I've got a bad feeling about this. But also make sure you look around in here. There's a lot of cool stuff. Also scary First Order guards, so be cool. But there's TIE fighters, guards. They don't like me. I got pulled because I'm a single sympathizer. Hello.
You will follow one line.
Hello. Okay. He looks happy to see me.
Alright, we're with resistance. We're here to break you out. Hurry up,
Thank
let's
goodness.
go. We gotta get out of here. Red, blue, you're in this transport over here.
Hurry and don't get caught. Lieutenant Beck will guide you. Recruits, for your safety, stay seated with seatbelts securely fastened. Keep hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the transport and supervise your children. What? Tell them it's a prisoner transfer. Turn right. Stay out of trouble.
Watch at the ceiling when the stormtroopers suit.
I said down, up is bad. Up is real bad.
The blaster comes down. And holes appear in the ship as you go. Watch how smart R5 is. He won't move forward until the blaster guns are cleared. So he stops and let that one go, and then he knows he can go again.
Your escape pods came in a little off target. Ground crews will meet you outside the wreck. Location of the resistance base is secure. Bravo! Yes, R5, you too.
A cool thing about Lieutenant Beck is that he is named after Carrie Beck, who's a vice president at Lucasfilm over animation and live series development. It's amazing. It is worth the hassle of getting here so early, a couple days in a row. It is worth the hassle of waiting in line. It's amazing, and I've been on it. I'm lucky enough to have been on it several times, and this is my reaction every single time. Well, that is a wrap on my Easter egg hunt here in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Hopefully you had fun going around the entire land and looking for all those details that make Disney so magical, especially in this incredibly immersive land. I hope you had fun watching this kind of video. If you did, let me know in the comments. We can go somewhere else and check out the details there. Toy Story Land, World Showcase, Magic Kingdom, you let me know, and we will go on more Easter egg scavenger hunts around Walt Disney World. In the meantime, friends, make sure to rate, review, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram at AllEars.net, and until next time, y'all, I'm Molly, and it's been magical. To the Spires! Want to see more of my videos? Click over here. Want to subscribe? You can do that right here. And also, ring that notification bell to make sure you get instantly notified anytime we post a new video. Thanks for following. See you real soon.